welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to be bringing to you another video, and this one is going to be the final 4. So I will have completed 4 full videos for you every Thursday, which is just a pat on the back for me wanting to stay consistent. So that was a goal of mine, to just execute this first month so that I can keep it rolling. But I'm super excited with that being said, I'm super excited to be bringing to you the 4th video, which is going to be getting into the fashion segment of my channel. So let's get started. So as I mentioned in my summary of the last video, this week I am going to be talking about why I decided to become a fashion designer in the first place, and kind of take you down memory lane of that story of me as a 12-year-old trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and how I pretty much came to the conclusion of deciding to be a fashion designer. Okay, so let's get into the storytelling. Let's fast forward to me. I am 12 years old. I am living in Silverton. I may not have said this on here, but I come from a family of 7, so I'm the youngest of 7 siblings. But let me set the record straight before I tell you the story. No one think that I am coming from my mom. My mom is a great woman, always has been, always will be. Shout out to her. I am just telling my story. So growing up, we wore hand-me-downs, and sometimes we would have clothes from a thrift store. Now, mind you, the clothes that we would get would just be lounge around, run errand type stuff. When we were going to events, or it was a special occasion, or it was school, best believe we were dripped. But back to the story. So growing up as a kid, not understanding the process of hand-me-downs and getting recycled clothes or what have you, you don't realize, like, there's actually a subtle blessing in that, because now we thrift and it's very trendy to go thrift shopping, right? But as a kid, you don't understand it. So to draw the connection between my dolls and I felt like my dolls and I had a very similar story. They came out of the box with one outfit. I am recycling many outfits from my siblings. So I decided, how about I create clothing for my dolls? And what inspired that event was me and my sisters had this amazing imagination, right? As kids, we played countless hours. That is how we spent our days. When we weren't in school, we were playing, building up entire fortresses, and our imagination would run wild. So we were playing one day, and I'm not sure if it was a movie or a TV show that inspired it, but we decided to make a fashion show. And I'm not even sure if America's Next Top Model was even out at that moment, but we decided to do a fashion show, and we took some of our old clothes that we were planning on either donating or throwing away, cutting them up and making little doll clothes out of them. So my first experience with sewing was from my mom and my sister. So they are the ones who are responsible for kind of getting me my hands in some needles, and then from that point on, I just kind of took it to a further direction in the current direction that I'm in now. So my pop came into the outside patio where we were playing and setting up this whole fashion show, and my sister and my pop both noticed how good I was kind of picking up on the sewing and starting to create little pieces that actually had some sort of sense of direction. And my pop was the first to suggest to me the idea of college and going to college by saying, hey, the DAP program has a fashion design program. Maybe you should think about looking into that when you go to college one day. And at this point, I'm only in 6th grade. We haven't even made it to high school yet, and now we're already talking about college. But that is what started me on the process of deciding to become a fashion designer. And my pop, shout out to him, he was the first to purchase my first sewing machine, which is a little bitty guy. I still have it to this day. I'm never getting rid of it. Probably gonna put it in one of those frames at one point and put it in my studio. But yes, so my pop, my sister, and my mom were all responsible for getting me on this path that I am on today. Now, as you know, you can always have a dream, but sometimes there are going to be obstacles along the way that sort of shift the route that you take in terms of achieving that dream or said goal. For me, it was once I had come into high school and got a sense of developing who I was as a person, I started to lose sight a little bit of why I wanted to go to college or what I would go to college for. So I had forgotten about that small pleasure that I once found in fashion from playing with my toys, because I was a young teenager and I was like, oh, Barbie dolls are for kids. And I sort of attributed that playtime with a child's like play as opposed to something real and something actually attainable from that. And I didn't realize I was developing something very important that young. But it wasn't until my senior year that I started to kind of draw on some of that that passion that I had early on, and starting to realize like, hey, I should probably go to college for this. And at the time, coming from my background, college didn't seem like something that was on the table for me. I was a first generation college student, and I was like, well, I don't know if college is really for me. So I was kind of unfolding into that life of what am I actually gonna do once I graduate high school, because it's really scary to think about. And I knew that I had to make a decision, but at the time I wasn't 100% confident that I would become a fashion design student, because I didn't feel like I had the background and the experience to really go in and be serious about it, because I lost sight of it, right? I wasn't doing anything in high school that was connected to it. There wasn't anything at my school that could help me prepare for it. And there wasn't anything really in my neighborhood that could also give me some skills to help me get to that end goal of going to college to be in the DAP program. So I sort of felt like I was behind, but I knew I still had to go to college. I applied to the DAP program 3 times, didn't get accepted, but I still went to college anyway, went to school for business, and I decided to go about it that way. So small obstacles that got in my way, and I lost sight of what I wanted to do for college, but I still didn't let that deter me from getting to that initial point of going to college and still achieving something that was related to the field. So that way I can kind of get to where I wanted to be, but go a different route to getting there. So I went to school for business, and I decided to start my fashion design business on the side, because you don't necessarily need to go to college in order to do the things that you want to do or that you love to do or that you feel passionately about. You just have to have the will. And that is what I wanted to get across in this video for you today, is that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, as long as you have the will and the strength and the perseverance to pull that energy out of you, get up every day and do it. So that concludes this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you can take in a little bit of my story and apply it to your own, in hopes that maybe there might be something that you can bridge a gap in your own life, right? And find passions or discover a new route to take in your own journeys. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.